Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Jam Vishwapad Paramhamsa Parvijagacharya Stotra Shri Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki. Jam Vishwapad Paramhamsa Parvijagacharya Stotra Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavanda ki jai. Grantharaj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. So we're reading from Canto 8, chapter 3, text 5. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Kalena panchatvam iteshu kritsnasho lokeshu paleshu cha sarvahetushu tamastadasid gahanam gabhiram yastasya pare abhivirajate vibhu Kalena panchatvam iteshu kritsnasho lokeshu paleshu cha sarvahetushu Tamastadasid gahanam gabhiram Yastasya pare abhivairajate vibhu Kalena panchatvam iteshu Krishnashu Lokeshu paleshu cha sarva hetushu Tamastadasid gahanam gabhiram Yastasya pare abhivirajate vibhu Kalena panchatvam iteshu Krishnasho Lokeshu paleshu cha sarva hetushu Tamastadasit gahanam gabhiram Yastasya pare abhivirajate vibhu Kalena panchatvam hiteshu Krishnasho Lokeshu paleshu cha sarva hetushu Tamastadasit gahanam gabhiram Yastasya pare abhivirajate vibhu. Matajis, after you. Kalena panchatvam hiteshu Krishnasho Lokeshu paleshu cha sarva hetushu Tamastadasit gahanam gabhiram Yastasya pare abhivirajate vibhu. Mataris. Kalena panchatvam iteshu Krishnasho Lokeshu paleshu cha sarva hetushu Tamastadasit gahanam gabhiram Yastasya pare abhivirajate vibhu Kalena panchatvam iteshu Krishnasho Lokeshu paleshu cha sarva hetushu Tadasit gahanam gabhiram Yastasya pare abhivirajate vibhu Kalena panchatvam iteshu Krishnasho Lokeshu paleshu cha sarva hetushu Tamastadasit gahanam gabhiram Yastasya pare abhivirajate vibhu. Word to word translation. Kalena, in due course of time, after millions and millions of years. Panchatvam, when everything illusory is annihilated. Iteshu, all transformations. Krishnasha, with everything within this cosmic manifestation. Lokeshu, all the planets, or everything that exists. Paleshu, maintainers like Lord Brahma. Cha, also. Sarvahetushu, all causative existences. Tamaha, great darkness. Tada, then. Asit, was. Gahanam, very dense. Gabhiram, very deep. Yah, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who? Tasya, this dark situation. Pare, over and above. Abhivirajate, exists or shines. Vibhu, the Supreme. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. In due course of time, when all the causative and effective manifestations of the universe, including the planets and their directors and maintainers, are annihilated, there is a situation of dense darkness. Above this darkness, however, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I take shelter of His lotus feet. Purport. From the Vedic mantras, we understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is above everything. He is supreme above all the demigods, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. He is the Supreme Controller. When everything disappears by the influence of His energy, the cosmic situation is one of the dense darkness. The Supreme Lord, however, is the sunshine, as confirmed in the Vedic mantras. Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat. In our daily experience, when we on earth are in the darkness of night, the sun is always luminous somewhere in the sky. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Sun, always remains luminous, even when the entire cosmic manifestation is annihilated in due course of time. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are reading the section where Gajendra, who was caught by the crocodile, and he has prayed to Lord Vishnu, and Vishnu has appeared to protect his dear devotee. And Gajendra is offering his very wonderful prayers. And this is in the continuation of another of his prayer, which is explaining how when the cosmic annihilation takes place, then the situation is of a dense darkness. But the Lord is above this, such darkness, and so Gajendra is taking shelter of such a Lord. Supreme is the lotus feet of the Lord. So we hear many times in Prabhupada, in his lectures, he would mention that this material world is dark. So it's dark by nature, and we need sunlight, moonlight, electricity to brighten up. But otherwise, by nature, it's very dark. And in Melbourne, we get to see many of such dark days. Yesterday was one of them. It was very cold and freezing and windy. It's not much sun around. But in comparison to the cosmic annihilation, this is nothing. So at the time of cosmic annihilation is much, much more dark, the dense darkness. So we have many such days which are very dark, and that could be also because of the challenges that we face in our life due to our own body and mind. It could be due to the nature. It could be due to other living entities, they're creating trouble for us. So we have many such challenges and we have many such dark days. And somehow we are trying to get through them. And we have a hope that that these dark days will pass. And that hope is what carries us. We know that, okay, this is very cold, but we know that this is a matter of time, the season will change, and the sun will shine again, it will be warm again, so let's just get through it. We know sometimes our body aches and pains, but then we say, okay, we'll do some treatment, and if we do it right, and if we follow through the steps properly, then our health will improve again. Or the people who are creating trouble, then we hope that, they will not be around for too long, or that we won't be around them for too long. So the situation will change. And so in that hope, we somehow try and pass the time and hope that we'll come out on the brighter side. However, the Bhagavatam here is explaining that taking shelter of such a false hope under the influence of material energy might help only for a short duration, but it will not help for a very long time. So here in the verse is explaining the kalena panchatvam, that in due course of time, everything is annihilated. So when we have our optimistic viewpoint of life and the world, the Bhagavatam gives a very pessimistic view of it. That is saying that in the due course of time, we are hoping that things will get better, but according to Bhagavatam, things are only getting worse. And everything is going to be lost. So we can see in this pastime, in this storyline, where Gajendra, who is a very strong elephant, he is the king. And he has many friends and family members. He has many allies who are around him. And so when he is having his good time, and when he gets caught by the crocodile, he's thinking that it should be easy, like after all, I'm so strong, after all, I have so much of help required, and so I should be able to get through this very quickly and easily. And so we like to think ourselves very strong and capable, and our friends and our family to be there to support us in our challenges, in our dark days. But sometimes when this crocodile of material energy catches hold of us, and then it slowly and gradually starts to destroy all our hopes from this material world. So at that point, the question then is that whom will we take shelter of? So our only shelter is Krishna. And although we are aware of Krishna's presence, sometimes we might forget because we maybe rely too much on things that are material. And although we know that Krishna is there, we think that we should be able to manage ourselves. And so we don't fully surrender always to Him. And maybe we hope that our bodies, our minds, our opulences will protect us. And in that way, we feel optimistic about our life. So Bhagavatam is smashing through that false optimism, and he's saying that under the influence of time, everything is actually getting destroyed. Everything is slowly and gradually getting destroyed. Just like Gajendra was so strong, and has so much of his strength and opulence is available to him, but all that gradually started vanishing as the crocodile started sucking his blood and killing him gradually. So in that way, the time is what is explained here, is that in the due course of time, all the manifestations, they're slowly getting destroyed and getting taken away from us. And so this particular prayer of Gajendra is sort of destroying our rosy picture of this material world. Sometimes it's very easy to forget the stark nature of this material world. and the strong effects of time, that we think that things are going to go on forever, and that we are going to be happy and healthy forever, and that everything is just going to work out according to our plan. And so in that way, it's very easy to forget the real nature of things in this world. And so that's the reason why we should try and listen, try and hear the Bhagavatam on a regular basis, because that reminds us of the nature of this material world. Because material energy by nature means forgetfulness, and we always tend to forget things. Although we have had many challenges and difficulties, and although we have been disappointed by the material energy for many times, we still forget and we still hope that this time the things will work out better, and we make plans accordingly. But when we're hoping that the things will work out for us without the help of Krishna, without taking shelter of Krishna, then we are hoping that it will be all positive. But and we think that although we can see that many people are going through the problems and challenges and difficulties, we think that it won't happen to us. That we will be all good. And why we think like that is because we like to think we are nice people. That the material nature, this material world, owes us a good time, and because after all we are nice people. So in that way, we expect the good things from people in the world. While that's happening, Maya is, just like devotees, we try and plan things, and we try and plan our programs and events, festivals, etc. So similarly, Maya is also making these plans and programs and scheming how she can distract us from our taking shelter of Krishna, our surrender to Krishna. And so sometimes this can be, this can look a little bit depressing, that that the material world is so negative. The Bhagavatam's connotation of this world is so negative. As here is explaining that everything is going to get annihilated in time, and it's only darkness. So, but Bhagavatam is just not being falsely optimistic; it's rather being realistic, and it's giving us the true vision of things as they are. So then what to do? Where can we take shelter? And here Bhagavatam is explaining that it's actually Krishna who is above all the darkness. And we know this, maybe some of us know this pastime of Markandeya Muni from the 12th canto. Markandeya Muni, sage Markandeya, when he got his initiation, and he started doing devotional service, and he performed devotional service for 6 manvantaras. So that's a long time. You know how long one manvantara is? Does anyone know? 72 yuga cycles, yeah? So that's a long time. 4,300,000 multiply 72, whatever that comes to, and multiply 6, because he meditated, he actually did devotion service for 6 manvantaras, is explained in the Bhagavatam, for a very long time. And at that point, by the 7th manvantara, when he came to 7th manvantara, Lord Indra sent Cupid, Kamadev, with all his friends and agents. They go and distract this Markandeya Muni. And they all came and they all tried to distract Markandeya Muni. But because of his strength of penance, his austerities, he was not disturbed. And all the Cupid and his agents were frustrated. After they were gone, Krishna, Sri Hare, is explained, he said, became very pleased by the devotion service of Markandeya, and he actually manifested himself in front of the Rishi, and he asked for the benediction. He said, okay, ask me whatever you want. I'll give you the benediction. And what did Markandeya Muni ask? He asked that I want to see your illusory energy. So the Lord said, okay, so be it. And and Lord disappeared. Markandeya Muni continued his devotional service. And one day when he was performing his part of his daily duties, and he noticed that there was this devastation waters that started coming and started filling up the entire ocean, entire universe. And it was very, very scary, that the water is flooding the whole universe. And it was very, very disturbing. And then slowly he got swept into that ocean, into that waters. And when he was getting carried away by this ocean and by this water, he saw this child. Is it right? Is it when he saw the child? And he saw this small baby child who was very bright, effulgent, and sucking his toes. So Markandeya Muni tried to go closer to him, but as soon as he tried and go a little bit closer, he could see that this child is breathing in all the waters and is breathing everything of the universe within him, and he himself got swept into that breathing in of the Lord. When he went inside the body of Krishna, this baby boy, then he saw that within the body is the entire universe again. The whole thing, how he had seen before, is all of those things are also there in the body of the Lord. And he was there for some time, and very quickly, when he breathed out, along with him came all the material manifestation, and everything came out, and everything went back to how exactly it was before the devastation. And he saw himself again in that hut, meditating. and so there was a very brilliant way of experiencing the whole illusion energy. Actually, and so that's why, because Parikshit Maharaj noticed when Sukadeva Goswami is explaining about Markandeya Muni, and he mentioned that he was meditating for 2 days of Lord Brahma. And so Parikshit Maharaj asked, how is it 2 days? So because he sort of experienced that partial annihilation through one night of Brahma. So we can see how in this way it was only the Lord before the creation, and everything comes from him. So in that way, Prabhupada is explaining in this purport here is that Krishna is above such darkness, because actually sun is never affected by the darkness. It's the absence of the sun that creates darkness. So the verse Prabhupada quotes here is Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat, is the Lord is above such darkness. And we can see that even when there is night here, when it's dark here, is the sun is still shining somewhere else. So the absence of the sun doesn't represent that the sun doesn't exist. So similarly, Krishna also exists all the time. And so Gajendra here, he is taking shelter of that Supreme Person who is beyond all the darkness. So when we are trying to take shelter of anything within this material world, it's limited. It's within the jurisdiction of time. And so therefore, it cannot fully protect us or save us from the darkness. So the question then is, what about the demigods? Can they protect us? Can they save us from this dense darkness? And Prabhupada explains in the purport that he is supreme above all the demigods, even Brahma and Shiva. And even though they are great personalities, even they cannot fully protect one. And in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 10th chapter, in the 8th verse, Prabhupada is quoting many verses from the Vedas and from the Upanishads, where it explains that it was Krishna who in the beginning instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge and who disseminated Vedic knowledge in the past. And the Supreme Personality Narayan desired to create living entities. From different Upanishads, these are different verses. And it's explaining another Upanishad in that from Narayan, Brahma is born, from Narayan, patriarchs, Indra, 8 Vasus, 11 Rudras, Adityas, they're all born, and this Narayan is an expansion of Krishna. In the Vedas also explained that Brahmanyo Devaki Putra is that how the son of Devaki, Krishna, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how all the creation is taking place from Narayan, and before that there was no Brahma, there was no Shiva, there was no water, there was no fire, moon, stars, sky, sun, nothing was there. And so therefore you can see how everything is actually coming from the Supreme Lord. So in the purport, Prabhupada also explains that thus Krishna is the source of everyone, including great personalities like Brahma and Shiva. So then the Bhagavad Gita says, therefore, it says that if anyone says that Krishna is an ordinary person and takes shelter of anyone else other than Krishna, then he is a fool. Why so? Because ultimately they are all coming from Krishna, and ultimately none of them can be equal or greater than Krishna. So therefore, it's not very wise, it's not very intelligent to take shelter of anyone else. And as the verse explains itself in the 10th chapter, in the 8th verse, the Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, and it says that Krishna is saying that everything is coming from me. So I'm the source of everything, material and spiritual. And that the person who understands this, he actually engages in my devotional service with his heart. So sometimes although we understand Krishna is the Supreme, but if we don't understand how Krishna is the source of everything and how everything comes from him, then we might not understand things properly, and in that way we sort of disconnect things of this world from Krishna, and we rather engage or put our heart into something that's not, something that is material. And so therefore Krishna, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, is explained, he said, Ekale Ishvara Krishna, Arasa Bhritya. He said, there's only one Supreme Master, and that is Krishna. And that everyone else, Arasabha Bhritya, he said, everyone else they're his servants. So, in that way, Gajendra is showing by his practical example that he is seeking shelter of the Lord exclusively and no one else. So in that same way, we can try and seek our shelter. And in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, there are many devotees. They study the Bhāgavatam. They chant Hare Krishna. They perform devotional service when the times are difficult and the days are dark. And there's a nice verse in the Bhāgavatam which says, Krishna Swadhamopagate Dharmagyana Dipisaha Kalo Nashta Drisham Esha Puranarko Adunodita. This Bhagavad Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion and knowledge, etc. Person who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. So, it's the study of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam that actually helps us get out of this darkness. But otherwise, people who have lost their vision in the dense darkness of ignorance, it's just like sometimes if you're walking in the dark, it can be quite difficult. Like trying to walk inside the room or walk inside the corridor, and when it's fully dark, it's actually very hard. Or like you can close your eyes and try to walk, and it's going to be very difficult, very easy to trip over. And especially if you're running in the dark, like all of us in Kali Yuga, we're constantly busying ourselves. So in this running, we had Yeah, I had an experience recently in the ashram. There's a corridor and it was dark. I had a sprint because I was running late for service. And there was a big tub. Just smashed the tub. Or I got smashed by the tub. But it's a bad idea, if it's very dark and if you're going to be running around, it's not very safe. So this Kali Yuga, as the Bhagavatam is explained, is dense darkness. And to make it worse, the persons are blind. So that doesn't help. So therefore, what will help us is the spiritual knowledge. Is that the spiritual knowledge helps us give a proper vision, a clear vision to the reality of the situation. The Prabhupada is explaining here that they are so blind, referring to the modern scientists and all the people who are falsely proud of their knowledge, that they are so blind that they cannot see anything beyond the jurisdiction of the subtle mind, intelligence and ego. But they are very much proud of the advancement of knowledge, science and material prosperity. They can risk their lives to become a dog or hog just after leaving the present body, for they have completely lost sight of the ultimate aim of life. So we can question that, I'm not blind, I can see, But Prabhupada is explaining that actually real vision is to have a vision or have a sight of what is the aim of life. And without that aim of life, we are in darkness, we are in illusion. And although we like to consider ourselves to be great visionaries, Prabhupada is here explaining is that although we might have whatever knowledge and prosperity in science and technology, is after living this present body, we are risking ourselves to become some lower species of life who has no facility for self-realization. And so therefore, Prabhupada continues, he said, both the Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad Bhāgavatam are like the torch bearers for the blind people of this age. In other words, if men in this age of Kali want to see the real light of life, they must take to those two books only, and their aim of life will be fulfilled. So, by the mercy of the Parampara and Srila Prabhupada, that we have access to these transcendental literatures, that we can read and that we can get knowledge from, and in that way become enlightened and have more clarity of vision. And so, therefore, when Prabhupada started his Back to Godhead magazines, and in the top banner, he had Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, that the Godhead is light and nescience is darkness. Where there is Godhead, there is no nescience. That we need to go from darkness to light. And that journey is when we are connecting with Krishna. So yeah, we have this opportunity and we take advantage of it. And actually also, one last point that I wanted to mention is it is the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that the Sankirtan movement that gives us the light in this time of dense darkness, because Prabhupada said that whoever reads my books, then he will be, they will stay. Is that they will stay, because without reading these books, without understanding these books, without developing sufficient knowledge, then we won't have the clarity of vision of where we are going or who we are or what's the aim of life. So it's very, very important that we study these books. And the Prabhupada said that studying the books will keep them, and distributing these books will keep them happy. So we also have that opportunity to share this knowledge and wisdom with people, and in that way try and eradicate at least some bit of the darkness by trying our best, and by engaging in this Sankirtan mission, and by engaging in this transcendental work that's given by Lord Chaitanya. We get to be part of helping humanity and helping people to to come out of darkness while we try to help ourselves. So with that, I try to finish. Thank you very much. Is there any questions or comments or corrections?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the nice class. Prabhu, you mentioned how the family and the family members of the Gajendra couldn't protect Gajendra at the time of difficulty. So does that mean when we are in difficulty, our friends and family cannot protect us? Because we see in the past times, like in some past times, Diti, she prays for her sons. And then Aditi, she also prays for her sons. So when we're in difficulty, can our family members help us by just praying for us?
Yeah, well, that's the real help. And that's, everyone can do that. Family can also do that, and friends can also do that, and all the devotees can do that. They can pray for us. And that's the real protection. The real protection is in Krishna, coming from Krishna, coming through Krishna. But just the material help that we are more specifically referring to, the material help that even if I'm growing old, somehow the family will help me and I'll remain young forever, or that I will not get sick because I have good doctors, or that I'll never lose my money because I'm with such and such person or such and such bank. Then all those material faculties, they can fail. They can fail, and then they can fail us also. So they cannot really help in that sense. But spiritually, of course, the devotees can and the devotees should pray for each other. Because that's the real protection.
Thank you.
Thank you. The question was that although we mentioned that that family and friends cannot help us, that family and friends cannot help us or protect us. But how about when they pray for us? Then that is them giving the protection. Is that right? Yeah. Would you like to?
Right. Sometimes the students come to the temple the day before their exam and they say to me, "Will you pray for me?" Right? And I say, "Have you done your study?" There's no substitute for effort. Right? You may get Krishna's mercy by failing the exam, which will teach you should have done your study. Right? So,
As Prabhupada said, God
there is such a thing as mercy.
Yeah.
But that has to be accompanied by effort on that part of the devotee. That we see that in the Damodar Leela. And in that instance, it's the effort of the devotee that attracts Krishna. The desire of the devotee attracts Krishna's mercy. So I wouldn't depend too much on the prayers of others to be successful as a devotee. What do you think? I mean, it's not bad, obviously.
That helps. The prayers helps.
Yeah. And just to counter that, Prabhupada does say that with the blessings of the spiritual master, then one will make advancement. But of course, the blessings of the spiritual master are his or her instructions, and then one has to follow those instructions. So the mercy of the guru, the well-wisher, and especially, parents are always telling us what to do, right? And that's their mercy in many respects. If we disregard what they tell us to do, then despite their best wishes and prayers and encouragement, our stupidity may still... but yeah, blessings, well wishes, all beneficial. What do you think, Sibya? What's that? It will help, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Granthara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,